because learning is always happening, and a developmental approach helps you shape that learning into something positive and helpful for the future, no matter what the circumstance is. There's always a way to turn it into a learning opportunity.
Welcome to the Homeschool Show from North Carolinians for Home Education. I'm Amanda Wares, your host, and with me is Melanie Willis, our lovely co-host. Hey, Melanie.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. I'm doing well. We are headed into springtime, which makes me happy.
Yes, very, very happy. It's been one winter. Oof.
We haven't had, I feel like maybe we haven't had a bad winter or a, cold, snowy, whatever winter in a while.
Yeah.
It's been the last few years have been maybe unusually warm.
Yes.
So I guess it was time, but good grief.
Yes, I think it's been like 8 years since there was like a big winter.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
This one sure was. I'm so glad for warm weather.
Me too. So what do we have for today?
So today we are going to watch, you sat down with Stephanie Buckwalter and had a talk with her. She is our featured special needs speaker at the Thrive Conference. And so we're going to listen to that talk. And then you and I sat down and talked about the importance of writing a signature. And that's part of our Real World Readiness series. And so we're going to listen to that. And then, of course, we're going to have some news.
All right. So first up, let's watch and listen to this interview that I did with Stephanie Buckwalter from Adapted Home Education. All right. I am here. I'm so excited about this interview with Stephanie Buckwalter, one of our featured speakers for the upcoming Thrive Conference. So, hey, Stephanie, and thank you so much for doing this interview today.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. I love conference season, and I'm really excited to be with you in North Carolina.
Wonderful. Will you please just, for our watchers and listeners out there that don't know you, can you just introduce yourself for everybody out there?
Sure. I'm Stephanie Buckwalter. I'm a mom of 5. So I had 4 boys really close together and then a gap and a girl. So we finally got that girl at the end. And I'm a grandmother of 3. I like to read, write, be out in nature. Now, not in the wild, so not that kind of nature. The backyard is fine, just being outdoors kind of thing. In addition to running Adapted Home Education, I'm actually a full-time caregiver for my adult special needs daughter. So I'm in the thick of it with everyone else with a special needs child.
Yes. Wow. And did you homeschool your kids all the way through, or how did you come to the homeschool community?
Actually, I started homeschooling with my oldest son, and I was going to a church where other people were homeschooling, and I was like, "Oh, I'd like to try that." I mean, how badly can you mess up kindergarten? And if I'm really bad at it, I'll just put him in public school. But I found out that I really like, I'm a teacher at heart, I found out, and I really like learning alongside my kids all through it. So I've
Yeah.
homeschooled now for over 25 years and counting because I'm still working with my adult daughter. She just graduated a couple of years ago, so we're still homeschooling, mostly working on independent skills and things like that. And it was quite an adventure because I had a mix of learning profiles. So I had one who was gifted, 2 who were kind of neurotypical, and one of them was like made for school books, textbooks, and that is not
Oh,
me. But I
wow.
had one like that too. And then I had one with mild learning struggles, and then my daughter who is moderate ID and nonverbal. So I got to
Okay.
homeschool a little bit of everybody. It
Definitely.
was kind of fun. And I
Yes.
did homeschool my kids for at least part of their schooling. So 2 of them I went through 5th grade, and then they went into private school and then into public school from there. Another one
Okay.
I did through 8th grade, and then he went to private school for a year, and then he just wanted to play football. And they were opening a new high school, so there was no pre-made football team there. It was people coming from a bunch of different schools. So he went into public school at that point. And then my special needs daughter, one I did all the way through 12th grade. And then my daughter, I started out homeschooling her, and then for a variety of reasons, we put her in public school, kind of late elementary and middle school. And then we pulled her back out
Okay.
at high school, and she's been home ever since. So when she was in public school, though, I went through the IEP process. I'm very familiar with that. And I was that parent, that homeschooling
Mhm.
parent. So I had a lot of IEP meetings. But the interesting thing was, at one point we went to mediation with the state, and I actually got a job offer from the lady who was the head of compliance for the school
Yep.
district.
Oh, wow.
So I could have been that awful.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny.
It is funny. I have heard from numerous people that homeschool parents, whether they're homeschooling like actually or just homeschool parents at heart, make the worst brick and mortar school parents because they just, I think they want to be involved maybe more than your run of the mill situation. And they probably have opinions. I know I would.
Oh, I would usually spend the meetings educating them about neurology.
Yes.
Specifically, because my daughter has brain issues mostly. She doesn't have, like, a really specific diagnosis. Well, take that back. When she was 16, we found out it's a genetic thing. But up until that point, we just knew it was neurology based. And so I would, give them a little spiel every time. I was actually kind of friends with them by the end of it because I always had someone from the
Sure.
Office of Compliance in there because I was
Sure.
but, especially the middle school teachers. And, I'd bring them toffee at Christmas. So we actually had a pretty good working relationship. Even though I
Mhm.
was still kind of that parent, I took up more of their time than they probably wanted, but they kinda went with it
Yeah,
eventually.
exactly. Well, first of all, I think it's so great that you have such a breadth of experience having, private school, public school, homeschool, special needs, gifted, all those things, because, that's the families that come to us. They have all those experiences too. And I just think the value in somebody like you being able to say, "Yes, I have been through that," is so powerful. So that makes me even more excited than I already was, which was pretty excited about you coming to speak at Thrive. We are so thrilled that you're coming. But before we get into what you're going to be talking about at Thrive, I wanted to ask you, how did you get into or how did your business come to be? How did adapted home ed, how did that come to be a thing and all of that?
Well, it was kinda interesting because, like, in 2010, I started a website, and I couldn't decide, I either wanted to do homemaking or homeschooling. And I had a
Mm.
business coach, and she's like, "Oh, well, you have this great idea for homemaking, so do that." And I really wanted to do homeschooling. But, I said, "Okay, I hired this lady, I'm gonna do what she says." So after about 3 years, I had to quit because my daughter's care became too intense and the schooling and all the boys. And then
Yeah.
fast forward 10 years, and I thought, "Okay, I'm gonna start again." And this time I thought, "Well, I'll do art of special needs parenting, and I'll just talk about all the things that you have to deal with when all the new skills you have to learn when you become a special needs parent." And
Sure.
then 3 months into it, COVID happened. And
Uh,
everything was shut down, and I thought, "Well, I know how to homeschool. I'll just write a little book on how to teach your special needs child at home." And I did, and then all of a sudden, boom, I had all
well,
homeschoolers on my list. So
yes.
I think it was chosen for me.
Yes.
I
Sounds
didn't
like, when those doors open, I love that. Very cool. Okay. And so you started just sharing how to homeschool special
mhm,
need or how to do special needs at home, which
uh-huh. Either way,
man.
it's the same
And
way, and
since
it kinda grew from there, and I realized that I had a lot of experience because my daughter, I didn't know her diagnosis. I had
Mhm.
to do a lot of research, and I
Mm,
did everything, and actually, I'll preview one of the talks I'm gonna have is the 3 Ns, and one of the parts of research I did after I was doing research for years, I thought which was great, well, I did a lot of this while she was in school. So, she goes to school and I did research. It was, there were 3 things people were doing to help. They were getting results, and they were either working on nutrition, they were working on nurture, like just, studying their child, and the other one was
mhm.
neurological organization, all the brain stuff. And
Yes.
so I see patterns in things, and I kept seeing these patterns, and these people were having success. And so that was kind of my first, like, "Oh, so there are all these things that work together, and you can actually influence your child's outcomes when you start, you get out of the curriculum mindset and get into the developmental mindset." So that was,
Yes.
years and years of aha over and over.
Oh,
So that's what I share when
I
I
love
speak. I share all my aha moments.
yes. I love that though, because it's so beautiful that it's born out of your experience and your research and knowledge. That's such a wonderful thing. I love that. So,
Thank you.
obviously, if you guys haven't caught on by now, Stephanie is our special needs focus featured speaker for Thrive 2026. We are so excited. We started just last year in 2025, focusing, having one of our featured speakers focus on that area because we know so many of you out there that are homeschooling for the first time, that are coming to our conference. That is your reality. We know that. It is such a growing population in the homeschool world. And so we're so excited to again be able to offer, at least one workshop every single session that is special needs focused. We also have, as I've told you guys before, we have our special needs meetup, our special gathering, which is Saturday morning of the conference at 8:15. You do not want to miss that. That's such a great chance to talk to other families that are right where you are. Um, and of course, our mentoring. We also have mentoring at the conference. We wanted to make sure that we talked about this because, in addition to all the great workshops, getting to sit down with somebody one on one, even for just a few minutes and ask your questions is so, so helpful, so powerful. And Stephanie is going to be at our mentor table. So I'm so excited about that, Stephanie. This is great. And we don't have the mentor schedule yet, but we will. And we'll be able to tell you when Stephanie will be at the table. And you'll be able to come talk to her and one on one and ask her your questions, and she can share with you. That'll be so wonderful. In addition to that, our special needs support coordinator, Nikki Cooper, is also going to be mentoring at the table. So we'll definitely post the schedule. So if you have special needs questions, you'll have opportunities. Now, Stephanie, share with us a little bit more about what you're going to talk about at Thrive.
Okay. And I had the opportunity to meet Nikki this past fall, so that was really exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing her and teaming up a little bit with her. That's great.
She is wonderful. Yes.
Okay, so my specialty is really working with families whose kids have more severe learning needs, but I'm going to be covering a wide range of issues because as you heard from my intro, I've, done a little bit of everything. So special needs and struggling learners, that's really who I work with. So my talks on developmental approach to learning and teaching a child with ID, those are designed for the kids who are like 2 or more years behind in their core subjects, or they're stuck in perpetual elementary school, always learning one, two, threes, ABCs, and never seem to move beyond that. And the one on developmental approach will also be useful for those whose kids generally have meltdowns or practice school avoidance and you never get any school done at all. So I think I can help you with those. And those with higher functioning students can still glean information from it, but those two in particular, they're going to be geared toward those with the more severe learning challenges. Then the three N's talk, which I already mentioned, is for any level of ability or disability. And they're just things to do to improve outcomes and to make your teaching easier. And then I have one on transition planning for life after high school, and that's specifically for kids who are not likely going into higher education or into the workplace, straight from high school. It's, how to use those years in high school and right after high school to further their independence so they can get maximum independence for adulthood. And, with an
Yeah.
eye on that time in the future when you will no longer be able to care for them or you will be gone.
Right.
So I'm realistic. We've had to face that too. So
Yes.
I talk about all of those things.
Ah, wonderful. So, all of you out there, if you haven't yet registered for Thrive, you can still do so. We still have a discount registration that is available right up until May the 14th. And then that's when the discount ends, but you can still register. You can come on site and just come right on. We'll get you registered and ready to go. But now you have heard from Stephanie and how amazing. I know so many of you out there, we've heard from you. You are either considering homeschooling your child with any level of special needs, or you already are homeschooling your child with special needs. Think about how much these workshops can help you. I mean, just it will empower you. It will, equip you to go forward with your student who has those special needs. So I'm so excited about it. And I hope you guys are too. Now, last but not least, Stephanie, do you have anything just as you're out in the homeschool world out there, anything that's just on your heart that you want to share with our watchers and listeners?
Yes. My thing is, when you take a developmental approach to homeschooling for special needs, it makes the irrational become rational. And that was always the hardest for me because there's so much irrational things that go on in our household. We have special
Yes.
needs kids, they just don't make sense. And the developmental approach gives you a way to make sense of all of that. And if you have that kind of kid, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, it's not a quick fix, but it becomes a compass that allows you to navigate the days that seem impossible and where nothing seems to be happening. Because learning is always happening, and a developmental approach helps you shape that learning into something positive and helpful for the future, no matter what the circumstance is. There's always a way to turn it into a learning opportunity.
Mm, that is so good. That's so good. I love it. All right. So if all of our watchers and listeners out there, they want more from you, even than just at Thrive, where can they find you?
I'm really only one place consistently on the internet, and that's adaptedhomeed.com because I don't do social media. Quite honestly, I don't have the time or energy to do that at this point. Maybe someday in the future I will. But for now, I mean, I do have a Facebook page and you're welcome to go to it. I don't update it very often, but it does exist.
Hmm.
But my website's the best place.
Okay. Awesome. And we will link that in the show notes for sure. So you guys will be able to find more information from Stephanie and obviously come to Thrive. It's going to be a great time. We can't wait to see you there.
Yes, I look forward
Thank
to
you,
it.
Stephanie. Yes, thank you so much for joining me today and just, being so lovely, sharing your experience with us, with all of our watchers and listeners. And then, of course, coming to North Carolina in May and sharing with our conference attendees. We can't wait.
Great. Thank you. Look forward to seeing everyone.
All right. I am so thrilled. Special needs homeschooling has been kind of a little passion project of mine for a number of years. So I'm so excited that we have started having a featured speaker that just focuses on special needs homeschooling. I think that's really great. For all of you families out there that are homeschooling kiddos with any kind of special needs, I want to make sure you know that at Thrive, we have so many opportunities just for you guys. So we have Stephanie that now you've seen this interview and you know she's wonderful. You're going to want to come and see her. But in addition to that, we also have a workshop, at least one every single session that focuses on special needs homeschooling. We have a lot of vendors that have that focus also. And then last but not least, we have a meetup, a special gathering on Saturday morning of Thrive just for families that are homeschooling any kind of special needs. So definitely check out all that we have for you guys.
Well, and I'm so glad that that happens and that it is a focus. And I know there's always been, some here and there sprinkled in, but I
Yeah.
think for me as a homeschool mom of children that I did have special needs there. And I think that there was a good and bad to how I handled it because I really didn't focus so much on the fact that there were special needs. But I think some of that was because I didn't seek out to get equipped for it. And
Yeah.
so there was some positive and negatives to all of that. And I wish that I had done a little bit more. I think it would have made me feel better and more grounded and just like it was going to be okay. And so
Yes.
I'm really glad that that is going to be part of Thrive in such a big way.
Me too. Yeah, it makes me so excited and happy. And I'm so glad that I think these families in particular, all of us homeschool families, can feel like we're the only ones, we're alone. But I think in particular, special needs homeschooling families can really feel isolated and, like they're the only ones that are dealing with this. So I love, this is a great chance to absolutely be able to, meet up with somebody that could say, yes, I know exactly what you're going through.
Yes,
So, yeah.
absolutely. All right. And so you and I sat down and had a conversation as part of our Real World Readiness series about the importance of being able to write a signature. So
Yes,
let's give that a listen.
absolutely.
All right. So we did just several weeks back, we started our new series on real world readiness. And in that first episode, we talked about the importance of knowing telephone numbers. When I was young, we knew everybody's telephone number, we had them memorized, and
Yep.
that's now all we have to do is press a button. And so that's just super important. And so as we go into this series, if there is something that you teach that you think most of the world has forgotten that we need to teach, comment below and let us know about that, or send us an email at thehomeschoolshow@nche.com and we will feature that in this series. And so today, even if you're not going to teach your kids cursive, I think it is so important that you teach them how to sign their name. They need a signature. We have to teach them how to write their signature, and you don't want to be in the DMV line and teaching them right then. I have seen this happen too. Teach your kids how to write their signature, even if you're not planning on using cursive. However, and I'll keep it super short, but I want to give you 8 points on why I believe we should teach them to write in cursive. And so the first thing is that we probably should start it at a younger age. I think I learned in, like, 3rd grade,
I think
which
so
is
too.
about when I started all mine, some of them even a little bit later. But research has actually shown that it's really great for these younger kids, and it will help them to learn some of this a little bit better. It's actually easier for younger kids to learn to form letters that way. The flowing and the curving and stuff, it's a very artistic form of things, and so it actually is easier for them. And you wouldn't, my mind doesn't think that way, but looking at the research, I'm a believer now. It also helps you with letter reversals, how they struggle with what's B and D.
Yes.
And it helps with that because they're vastly different when you're writing in cursive.
Yeah.
Again, it's a flow thing. And lots of people have found that once they teach cursive, those letter reversals go away. And again, it's an artistic thing. It's very flowy. And so it actually, for kids that have a natural ability, they're going to flow naturally into that. And kids that don't, we find that they actually do better in art after learning to write in cursive. So it just goes
Wow.
all the way around.
Yeah.
Um, it helps with reading and spelling. And I read an article
I
about
didn't know.
that and why starting early helps them with being
Okay.
able to remember this. Instead of writing in so many different points for one word, you're putting the pencil down and really not lifting up, and it creates a solid word. And so it helps them with reading and spelling. I
Interesting.
never would have known.
Mm-mm.
It also is supposed to make for faster writing, which leads to less hand fatigue.
Okay.
And I'm a big one that we should have done more writing than I did with my kids through their homeschool journey. And
Yes.
then lastly, that signature, they're gonna need it. And you don't want to be waiting in line at the DMV or the bank for the first time. It is a very practical thing. It is necessary. And everybody has their own. It's just your kids are going to need to know it. I saw a child in line at the DMV, and yes, he didn't know how to write his signature, and I'm sure this is happening all the time. So
Yeah.
you need to teach your kids how to write their signature.
That's super important. I love that. And I didn't know a lot of those things, points of why it's helpful or important. So that was really helpful
I know.
for me.
We're always learning new things. It's great.
Exactly. That's awesome. Okay. Very good. So important.
Very.
We all
So-
need to know it.
Yes. So let's hear some homeschool news.
Hello, everybody. This is Lynn Pierre here, and I am here with this week's homeschool news. Now, of course, as you know, we got to talk about Thrive. So hang around to the end, and I got some exciting, priceless news that you want to hear about the Thrive Conference. First of all, let's talk about what's coming up March 23rd. It's the field trip to the England Planetarium and Museum of Coastal Carolinas, right here. Yes, this is what's coming up. Registration deadline ends the 19th. In other news, Durham Bull Education Day is coming up. Tuesday, April 28th. Look, they're ready for you to register. Get online and register. You do not want to miss it. And for all you chess players out there, the annual chess tournament is May 21st. So practice up on your skills, get online right here, and register for this year's annual chess tournament. And another deadline for you all, the scholarship deadline. This month, March 31st, the scholarship deadline, NCHE. Are you looking for scholarships? Are you interested in your student being rewarded for their hard work? Fill out an application now. Deadline is coming up. And now, like I told you I was going to talk to you about the Thrive Conference. I know all of you all are excited. I know that most of you all, if not all of you all, took a part of the early registration. I know I did. So now I'm going to tell you about some of the workshops and some of the speakers that you are going to hear. Now, all I'm going to focus on this time is the future, because one thing as a parent myself, I'm concerned about the future of my children. Now, listen to these workshops that are coming up that are geared to prepare not only our kids, but to prepare us for the future as it relates to homeschooling. Jessica is going to talk about preparing teens for the future, ethical AI in homeschool. Now, how many of you all need to hear about how we can ethically use AI in our homeschool curriculum? All of you all want to know. What else we got here? Really good one. Oh, check this out. Check out Andy Elliott, life skills. Preparing kids for adulthood, not just graduation. Andy's going to be talking about, listen to this, homeschooling isn't just about finishing textbooks. It's about preparing kids for real life. And this is Dara. Her subject is the real world. Are they ready? Will homeschooling really, really prepare your children for life academically, socially, and spiritually? Now, I've only mentioned 3 of the 15 or so workshops that I have here, but understand this. When you go to the Thrive Conference, you're going to get inspiration, you'll get motivation, and you're going to be prepared. You're going to be prepared to do the best possible job you can do in preparing your kids for the real world, outside of homeschooling and outside of your house. And that's the main point here. We want to make sure that each and every parent and student is well equipped to do the best job that they can actually do. We have to put in the work. We know the outcome belongs to God, but the Thrive Conference is going to teach us what we need to do to be confident in what we do as far as homeschooling is concerned and put in the work. My name is Lynn Pierre. I'll definitely see you at the Thrive Conference in one, if not all of these sessions. But from me to you, this has been your homeschool news. have an exceedingly and abundantly blessed week.
All right. So great. There's great things coming up. And I hope you guys out there check it all out. It will have everything, links to everything that we've talked about today in the show notes. And you can always go to nche.com. We have, everything under the different tabs. You can find activities, what's going on with that, events, what's going on with that, community, all the things. So definitely check that out. And as always, guys, please help us out by liking, subscribing, commenting, ask us questions, share, whatever your thoughts are on this episode, please share with us. We want to hear from you. You can comment. You can also always reach out to us via email, thehomeschoolshow@nche.com. So please help us out by doing that. If there's somebody out there that you think would be helped or encouraged by this episode, by this podcast, please share with them. That can really help us out as well. So as always, we are here for you. We want to help you homeschool with confidence and joy. So until next time, keep doing it. Keep going. See you then.